Chosen one, they tried to make you believe that your life was ordinary. They taught you to doubt your instincts, silence your voice, and shrink your dreams so you would fit inside a world built on fear. But there is something they could never erase from you, something deeper than pain, something stronger than rejection. And whether you realize it yet or not, that hidden power is the reason you survived every battle that should have broken you. I shouldn't be telling you this, but here we are. The truth is, not everyone is meant to awaken. Most people spend their lives chasing approval, running in circles, and begging the world to validate their existence. But you were pushed through isolation for a reason. Every betrayal, every closed door, every season where nobody understood you was shaping your vision. While others were distracted by noise, you were being trained by silence. You kept wondering why your path felt harder than everyone else's, why your heart carried battles nobody could see. Why people misunderstood you before you even spoke. It is because people often fear what they cannot control. And your spirit was never designed to be controlled. There is a reason you feel different. You notice things others ignore. You feel energy before words are spoken. You outgrow environments quickly because your soul refuses to stay trapped in places that no longer serve your growth. You thought something was wrong with you, but the reality is this. You were never meant to. Think small. The hardest seasons of your life were not punishment, they were preparation. Every lonely night taught you resilience. Every disappointment taught you discernment. Every setback forced you to discover strength you didn't know existed. While others gave up after rejection, you kept moving forward even when your heart was exhausted. That kind of endurance does not come from luck. It comes from purpose. And here is what most people will never understand. When life keeps isolating you, it is often because distraction would destroy your destiny. Some connections had to leave because they were blocking your growth. Some opportunities had to collapse because they were too small for where you were going. Sometimes losing everything familiar is the only way to discover who you truly are. You have spent too much time questioning your worth because the world trained you to measure yourself by applause. But real transformation happens in private. Seeds grow underground long before anyone sees the harvest. Mountains are formed under pressure. Diamonds are created in darkness. So stop assuming your hidden season means failure. Your silence was not emptiness. It was construction. There are people who laughed at your dreams because they could only see your current condition. They did not see the inner rebuilding taking place. They mistook your patience for weakness. They mistook your kindness for fragility. But one day they will realize the person they underestimated was quietly becoming unstoppable. You are entering a season where clarity will replace confusion. The things that once drained you will no longer have access to your energy. Your vision will sharpen. Your confidence will rise. And the same obstacles that once intimidated you will become proof of how far you have come. Not because life suddenly became easy, but because you finally remembered who you are. Read that again in your spirit. You finally remembered who you are. You are not here to spend your life hiding your gifts. You are not here to apologize for your ambition. You are not here to keep dimming your light so insecure people can feel comfortable around you. You were created to grow, to lead, to inspire, and to rise beyond every limitation placed on you. But this next part is important. Do not announce every move. Not everyone deserves access to your vision while it is still growing. Some people only understand results, not process. Protect your peace while you build. Move with discipline instead of noise. Let your transformation speak louder than your explanations. The powerful thing about your journey is this. Everything they thought would destroy you ended up developing you. The rejection developed wisdom. The heartbreak developed strength. The isolation developed focus. The struggle developed endurance. And now you stand here carrying lessons most people will never learn because they quit too early. You did not survive all of this just to doubt yourself now. This is your reminder that you are closer than you think. The pressure you feel is not the end of your story. It is the sign that something greater is trying to emerge from within you. Every challenge has been training your mindset for the level you are about to enter. So stop waiting for permission to become the person you were meant to be. Walk with confidence even before the results appear. Speak with faith even before the breakthrough arrives. Believe in your purpose even when nobody else understands it. Because one day people will look at your life and call it luck. They will never see the nights you cried in silence, the moments you almost gave up, or the battles you fought internally just to keep going. But you will know the truth. You earned your growth through persistence. And maybe I shouldn't be telling you this, but the version of you that is about to rise will make every painful chapter worth it. The hidden purpose behind isolation. This keynote explains how loneliness, rejection, and difficult seasons are often part of personal transformation. It teaches that isolation is not always a punishment but a period of growth where strength, wisdom, and clarity are developed. The audience learns how silent struggles can prepare a person for a greater purpose and future success. Why different people think differently. This section focuses on self-awareness and individuality. It inspires listeners to stop seeing their uniqueness as a weakness and instead recognize it as a gift. The message educates the audience about emotional intelligence, intuition, and personal growth while encouraging them to embrace the qualities that make them stand apart from the crowd. Turning pain into power. This keynote highlights how challenges, heartbreaks, failures, and disappointments can become powerful lessons. It teaches resilience by showing that every difficult experience can strengthen character, sharpen mindset, and build endurance. The audience is inspired to use pain as fuel for growth instead of allowing it to create fear or self-doubt. Protecting vision and rising with confidence. This section teaches the importance of discipline, focus, and protecting personal goals from negativity. It encourages listeners to move in silence, trust the process, and continue building their future, even when others do not understand them. The keynote inspires confidence, patience, and belief in one's purpose, while reminding the audience that true success is built quietly before it becomes visible to the world. There are seasons in life when everything becomes quiet. The phone stops ringing, people become distant, opportunities disappear, and suddenly you find yourself alone with your thoughts. Most people see these moments as punishment, but in reality, isolation can become one of the greatest classrooms for personal growth. Some of the strongest individuals were not built in crowds, they were shaped in silence. When distractions are removed, a person begins to discover who they truly are beneath the opinions, expectations, and noise of the world. Many people fear being alone because it forces them to face their weaknesses, emotions, and insecurities. But isolation has the power to reveal hidden strength. It teaches patience when nothing seems to move forward. It teaches discipline when nobody is watching. It teaches emotional endurance when there is no one around to provide constant encouragement. In these moments, character is formed quietly, one lesson at a time. Sometimes life separates you from certain people because your growth requires a different environment. Not every connection is meant to stay forever. Certain relationships can delay progress, weaken confidence, or distract you from your purpose. Isolation often creates space for reflection, helping a person understand what truly matters and what no longer belongs in their life. What feels like loss in one season may actually be protection for the future. History shows that transformation often happens in private before it becomes visible in public. A seed grows underground before anyone sees the tree. In the same way, personal development happens internally before success appears externally. The quiet season is not empty, it is preparation. It is where vision becomes clearer, resilience becomes stronger, and purpose becomes more powerful. One day, the same season that felt lonely will become the reason you were able to rise stronger, wiser, and more confident than ever before. From the beginning of life, many people are taught to follow the crowd, think like everyone else, and avoid standing out. Because of this, those who see the world differently often feel misunderstood. They question themselves simply because they do not fit into the expectations around them. But being different is not a flaw. In many cases, it is a sign of deeper awareness, creativity, and purpose. The individuals who change their lives and inspire others are usually the ones who refuse to limit themselves to ordinary thinking. Every person has unique experiences, talents, and ways of understanding life. Some people naturally notice details others ignore. Some feel emotions deeply, while others have strong intuition and vision for the future. These qualities can make a person feel isolated, especially in environments where people fear change or reject originality. However, history repeatedly proves that progress often begins with people who are willing to think differently, challenge limitations. One of the most important lessons in personal growth is learning to accept yourself without constantly seeking approval from others. Confidence does not come from being accepted by everyone. It comes from understanding your value even when others fail to recognize it. When a person constantly changes themselves to fit into every situation, they slowly lose their identity. True growth begins when someone stops apologizing for who they are and starts developing their natural strengths. Being different also requires courage. There will always be people who misunderstand ambition, confidence, or independence. Some may criticize what they do not understand. Yet the strongest individuals continue moving forward despite judgment because they know their purpose is greater than temporary opinions. Instead of comparing themselves to others, they focus on becoming the best version of themselves. The world does not need more copies of the same mindset. It needs people who are willing to grow, think deeply, inspire change, and use their unique abilities to create a meaningful impact. Pain is something every person experiences. Yet not everyone learns how to use it for growth. Difficult moments can either weaken a person or become the source of their greatest strength. Many people allow failure, heartbreak, rejection, and disappointment to convince them that they are incapable of succeeding. However, some of the strongest individuals in the world were shaped by the very struggles that once tried to stop them. Challenges have a way of teaching lessons that comfort never can. Every setback carries an opportunity to learn. Failure teaches responsibility, patience, and improvement. Rejection teaches self-respect and emotional strength. Hardship teaches endurance and discipline. When life becomes difficult, people often discover abilities they never knew they had. A person who has survived painful seasons usually develops deeper wisdom, stronger focus, and greater appreciation for growth. Pain forces individuals to adapt, reflect, and become mentally stronger than before. One of the most powerful mindset shifts is understanding that struggles are temporary, but the lessons gained from them can last forever. Many successful people failed multiple times before achieving their goals. What separated them from others was not luck or talent alone, but persistence. Instead of allowing pain to destroy their confidence, they used it as motivation to improve themselves and continue moving forward. Every challenge became fuel for personal transformation. Pain also teaches empathy and understanding. People who have faced difficulties often become more compassionate toward others because they understand what struggle feels like. They learn patience, emotional intelligence, and the importance of resilience. In this way, hardship not only strengthens character, but also shapes a person into someone capable of inspiring others. Life will always contain obstacles, but obstacles do not define a person's future. The way someone responds to those obstacles is what truly matters. When pain is viewed as a teacher instead of an enemy, it becomes a powerful force for growth, wisdom, and inner strength. Every challenge, every season of isolation, and every painful experience carries the potential to shape a stronger and wiser version of yourself. The journey of growth is never easy, but it is through difficulties that true character is built. Being different is not something to fear, because uniqueness often becomes the source of purpose and greatness. The struggles that once seemed unfair can eventually become the very experiences that develop resilience, confidence, and wisdom. Life teaches its greatest lessons through patience, endurance, and self-discovery. When a person learns to embrace solitude, trust their individuality, and transform pain into strength, they begin to rise beyond fear and limitation. Success is not created only by talent or opportunity, it is created by the ability to keep moving forward despite obstacles. Every setback can become preparation for a greater future when viewed with the right mindset. No matter how difficult the journey may feel right now, growth is taking place even in silence. The person who continues believing, learning, and persevering will eventually discover that their hardest seasons were preparing them for something greater than they ever imagined.